Hi there. Let's take a quick look at two related and important concepts in business: risk and uncertainty. Risk is a big issue for businesses, large and small, and a whole industry is devoted to what's known as risk management, trying to mitigate or reduce the potential damage from risk. And often risk is associated with the concept of uncertainty, so this video is really just here to help explain the subtle difference between the two. Well, what do we mean by risk? Well, it's the possibility or probability that things don't happen as you wish that they would. Bad things happen to the business. Planned actions, decisions don't work. Things go wrong in business. And it's a major issue for business, is risk. Uncertainty is a slightly more subtle concept. It's the fact that in life, as in business, or in business as in life, nothing is certain. You can't be sure about the effect of your decisions, whether they will be successful or not, because there are factors that in most cases are outside of your control. So, for example, the uncertainty about what might happen if you launch a new product or change the price of a product. Well, we don't know, do we, until we try it. So that's the concept of uncertainty, a different concept to risk. Well, let's give you a few examples of risk. I mentioned that it's a major issue for businesses, actually in particular large businesses, because the issue with risk is that it has the potential to not just damage the business, but to threaten the survival of a business. So right at the top there, I've put perhaps one of the biggest risks that all businesses face, which is that of cybersecurity and fraud, the need to maintain protection over sensitive, particularly, for example, customer data, a massive issue. The threats to businesses and their systems from cybercrime are ever present and growing. Similarly, the whole issue around the need for businesses to operate in an environmentally sensitive and friendly way, and the costs and consequences of damaging the environment, that's a major risk for lots of businesses, but obviously for particular sectors. Lots of businesses are increasingly facing issues around their supply chain. And what I've listed there, shocks to the supply chain. So, for example, a sudden change in the availability of containers, supplies no longer arriving on time when you had anticipated a particular lead time. So supply chain shocks are a big issue. So the whole issue of supply chain management is an attempt to manage the risks associated with that. And the other source of risk, I guess, is just to think about what else is out there in the external environment. So sudden changes or major changes to regulation, business regulation and legislation can be a risk to business, as of course can clearly shocks to the economic system, economic conditions. Well, what about uncertainty? Well, uncertainty, as I say, is a slightly different concept here, because in business, managers have to deal with uncertainty all the time. It's the unknowns, isn't it? And you have to live with it in business. Try to do all you can to manage it and to be as well informed as possible. So, for example, using market research as a means of reducing uncertainty. But the kind of uncertainties that exist really relate to business decisions, actions. So, for example, how would the market respond if you decided to change your marketing mix in some way? Perhaps increase your price. What would the effect be? So you'd be thinking about price elasticity of demand and also market research to understand how consumers might respond. If you're a new business, how likely is it, or what's the uncertainty that you may be able to achieve what you believe your break-even output to be? A really key concept. If you're choosing a new supplier, how likely is it that they will be able to deliver on time to the right quality and prove to be a reliable partner of the business? And if you think about human resource management, an uncertainty at the start of each year for many businesses, particularly labour-intensive businesses, is whether you'll be able to retain the right number of skilled and experienced employees. So you don't know, do you? You don't know how many employees are going to leave. You might have some information about labour turnover for yourself and the industry, but it's an uncertainty. And that's the point about uncertainty. Businesses just have to live with it and try to do the best they can to manage it. Well, there we go. Hopefully that's useful. That's just a brief introduction to these two important concepts, risk and uncertainty.